Okay, basically, I'm making a video on the senator from Kentucky, Mitch McConnell. And I'm basically going over some facts that I found on the internet. And looking for facts for Mitch McConnell, who's been a senator close to 40 years, is really difficult to find. And you have to do quite a bit of research to find this. Okay, now, Mitch McConnell, he's given himself a nickname. It's called the Grim Reaper. And basically, what he means by this, the Grim Reaper, is basically that a lot of the policies and things put forward by the Democrats are still sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk. And we're looking at over 300 policies. Anything from House resolution to the Medicare Extended Act to basically condemning Trump administration for illegal campaigning. And the list goes on and on. I'm looking at this list I printed up. Also, there's like in healthcare, is that the Democrats want to put in protecting Americans from pre-existing conditions like having asthma or if cancer runs in the family or heart disease runs in the family. Okay, so basically, there's a lot of things that, for some reason, and I'm trying to do this slow because I want everybody to understand. And also, when I put this video to my friend, Americans for Decency, who's going to edit this video for me, because he does a really good job at it, Americans for Decency, and you need to watch him, Americans for Decency, because the man is basically trying to show you the truth about Donald Trump and the Republican Party and what they're doing to America and why they're doing it. And I'm going to go first with the main reason why they're doing this. Okay, one of the things that the Republicans had put in place is they took protections of all kinds of, where Obama put in place, Barack Obama, the president, where banks don't take advantage of you, corporations don't take advantage of you. In fact, they even took off the protections when donors make donations, because there used to be a cap on how much money can be donated to, like, the Republican Party. Okay, the problem with that, if you have super rich donors like the Koch brothers or anybody else who we're saying is a billionaire, basically they can pretty much, they have a unlimited, basically unlimited access to how much they can give, where they can give to the Republican Party. And basically it's like buying somebody out, okay? Especially when you're talking, because even the most honest person, unless they're so honest they couldn't do it, you can almost bribe anybody, okay? And I'm, for one, like to look at myself in the mirror. I'm not going to say I could not be bribed, okay? Because I have a wife and 2 boys to take care of, okay? So I can't say, come here and lie to you and say I couldn't be bribed, because a lot of money can talk, especially if it's quite a bit of money. All right. So one of the things what happened is when the Republicans went into a private room, they wouldn't let no Democrats in there. They did this. They wrote the tax cuts. And basically the tax cuts they put into effect is the same tax cuts that Ronald Reagan did when he was president. And you can look this up. It's easy to find. This is not information you can. It's called the Trickle-Down Effect. And let me explain what the Trickle-Down Effect is. The Trickle-Down Effect is when they give all the money to the corporations, millions, even billions of dollars, because they believe that if we give all this money to these corporations, that money is going to come down from the top and trickle down all the way to us. Okay? I got news for you. It didn't work when Ronald Reagan did it, and it ain't going to work because the Republicans and Trump did it. Because for the simple reason is The people who get this money, they find ways to cut corners. And that's anything from getting rid of people to streamline their companies, to investing the money they got so they can add to their $101 billion that they're adding to the money they got. Okay? All right. So, and if you notice, in the last few decades, raises have been stagnant. In fact, let me give you a little insight on Mitch McConnell. And let me explain something about Mitch McConnell, and I need to find it here first. Okay. And this is basically has to do with how him and his wife Chow feel about giving raises and the cost of living. Okay. Basically, Chow and Mitch McConnell believes that nobody, like normal people like me and you, should make over $15 an hour. Okay? They think that if we get that kind of money, we'll get lazy. We'll be too complicit in how we look at things, and we would take advantage of the system. But yet, here's the thing: it's the Republicans are taking advantage of the system, because I'm gonna go back to where I found out how much money that Mitch McConnell makes. Okay. All right. At present time, Mitch McConnell, as senator for Kentucky, makes $193,400. Okay. Now, he's been in Congress for close to 40 years. Now, I guarantee you, when he started out as a senator, he didn't start out at $193,000 a year. He didn't. All right. It was lower. Okay. Now, based on the years he's worked, I went with the highest amount, which he's making now. Okay. And they say, now don't quote me on this, because I'm believing he's 36 years plus. But we're gonna make it an even 40 years he's been in Congress. Let's say he made that money start from the beginning, $193,000, and you multiply it by 40 years, it equals over just a little close to $8 million. Okay, now that's supposed to be to pay for his housing, his food, everything. But here's something you want to look at, because his estimate gross worth, his estimate now, is $23 million saved up in his checking account. And this is not even accounting for his wife, Chow, who basically is a communist, who the father and mother work from China as a communist country, and they own a shipping yard and large shipping containers, and they make millions of dollars, okay? So I want you to understand where we're coming from, and how Mitch McConnell is involved in how he runs this country. And I'm going to go even further than that by saying, when it comes to education, Kentucky ranks 45 in education. What does that mean? That means out of 50 states, they're almost at the bottom. They're the only ones they're higher is the 5 states that is below that. Okay, so if you go from 1 to 44, those states in education, the higher you go, the better the education level is. Well, Kentucky is at 45. Kentucky is at 47 when it comes to the poverty rate. So there's only 3 states that are worse than Kentucky. I don't know what the name is. You can look it up, but this is a lot of information. I mean, I got exactly, how many pages do I have here? 8 pages, and I'm not even having you cover half of this stuff. Okay? So I want you to understand what kind of person Mitch McConnell is, who's been just as long as Joe Biden has been in Congress. But when it comes to Mitch McConnell, when it comes to him stopping stuff, he's really good at stopping things. Especially when Obama and Vice President Joe Biden was in, they couldn't get Eric Gardner in, the basically the Supreme Court pick. Mitch McConnell wouldn't allow that, and I hope I said that name right. They stopped him and they said, no, it's too close to the election. We can't do that. You have to wait and let the voters decide who they want to be in charge to pick the next Supreme Court justice. Okay. So I want you to understand what kind of person Mitch McConnell is. Okay. When you make decisions, like Mitch McConnell does, you can't make subjective decisions. Especially when you're in a court of law and you're a court judge, you can't make subjective. You have to make objective decisions based on the law. Okay. Mitch McConnell doesn't do that. He makes subjective decisions based on what he believes, which then can possibly, and possibly, right now, I'm sorry for my munching up the words, he's possibly in a cult now, okay, because they have certain views like pro-life, abortion shouldn't be allowed, and you have to consider something about that. I'm going to use an example. I have two boys. One is 19, one is 24, but I don't have a daughter. Let's just say I had a daughter, and at 14 years old, she got raped, and because of that rape, that attack, she wound up pregnant. Now, from what I understand, now I may be wrong on this, but what I understand, under no circumstances should abortions be allowed. So now I have to allow my 14-year-old daughter to have this child because she can't get an abortion, and it was done through violence and abuse to take over her body so this guy could get what he wanted. So now my daughter's going to give birth to a child, and she's going to end up reliving this horrible incident over and over again. So not all circumstances can dictate where you can or can't have an abortion. And you have to look at that. But that's how the Republicans think. They think that their mindset is their way is the right way, and if you don't like it, take the highway. All right. So I'm going to put in a video on the bottom, and I'm trying not to make this too long because I'm already at over 12 minutes, and I believe my friend from Americans for Decency is going to edit this, which I have no problem with because he does a good job when he edits. He puts in background and stuff like that, which I did too. I put a background sheet behind me because I didn't want, my wife wasn't happy seeing our whole bedroom in the video. She was not too crazy about that, so I had to honor my wife and respect her. So, as we go forward with this, okay, basically, for instance, here's a proposal for wage increase in Kentucky now. This is Kentucky, all right, which is President 2020, and they think that at present time, it should only went up to $8.20. Now, in year 2021, they said, well, let's bring it up to $9.15, okay. And then year 2022, which is the last date they got here, it should go up to $10.10. Now, let me give you a little background. My 19-year-old son works at Home Depot, which I drive him whenever he has to work. It's about 9 miles away, and he makes $11 an hour. Okay, my son cannot survive on $11 an hour. What I do with him, and I help him through my disability, because I'm a disabled vet, okay, I have hearing problems. And that's why I talk so loud when I'm talking. And I hope you can hear everything I'm saying, because I got to play this back and make sure the video's okay. But I have to help my son so he can get money, he can survive, because he cannot be on his own right now. And that's how we're set up right now, because we're not allowed to make where we're living. We have a living wage where we can be able to save money to just in case of emergencies. In fact, I use an emergency right now. My central air went out, and I'm looking at quite a bit of money. I'm not going to tell you how much, but I got to figure out a way to come up with some big bucks to fix my central air, and it ain't funny. Okay. And I'm glad it's almost the end of August today, I believe, because in September it's going to start getting cooler. So maybe I can wait till next year to fix this. All right. But you have to ask yourself, because Mitch McConnell, he's running against Amy McGrath. Now, Amy McGrath, I don't know who you know who is. She's in the service. She's a fighter pilot. And I really believe she's sincere in what she says. I believe she really wants to be elected a senator so she can make a difference in Kentucky and help for better cost living pay, better health care, which should be universal because we pay for it. Come on. I mean, we all pay for when we work for 40 years. We all pay for our health care. All right? We pay for our Social Security. So we're entitled to all that. And we are entitled to a decent wage. So when we retire, anybody retire, you want to be able to enjoy whatever life you have left. Okay? Whether it's a few years or who knows, 10, 20, 30 more years. But you want to enjoy because you don't want to work all your life and don't have nothing to show for it. But yet, Mitch McConnell has a lot to show for what he's got. Okay? And I don't think he did that through honesty. I really don't believe. If you notice, he's got over 350 bills that was passed. And I'm not going to tell you who passed those bills. They're just sitting on the Republican desk, and Mitch McConnell does not want to pass them. I'll let you figure out who tried to pass those bills. And it wasn't the Republicans, okay? So I'm going to end this video. And like I said, I'm going to put several links in the bottom where you can check a lot of this information I looked up and find out for yourself. I don't know, after almost 40 years, Mitch McConnell, for 39 of those years, the turtle's been in his shell. He ain't come out yet because you got, and I forgot to say that too. When it comes to cost of living, you guys are the worst almost. You guys rank in the 47th percentile when it comes. And I mean, where you rank, we're out of 50 states, you're around 47 when it comes to quality of life. Out of 50 states, you're at 47. Come on. If Mitch McConnell, like they say, Joe Biden hasn't did nothing since the time, but I think because he couldn't do nothing, Mitch McConnell kept blocking everything but the kitchen sink. I think it's time to give Amy McGrath a chance and see if she can make, because what do you got to lose? You ain't gained nothing with Mitch McConnell. What do you got to lose with Amy McGrath? Vote blue for Amy McGrath for Kentucky because I think she will make a difference when it comes to making Kentucky better and more prosperous. Thank you.